Hi guys, welcome. Thank you for being here today. If you're watching this video, we met in an information session, and today we're going to learn more about tutoring with Trellus, how your first tutor session will go, how you can observe classes, and participate in our volunteer tutoring program. So welcome. So the first thing that you need to do is fill out the form that I've sent you. It's our tutor agreement, and here we'll have all your basic information, but we'll also be able to learn your availability. And when we learn about your availability, that's how we pair you with a student. So for example, you can just put your name, and here you can put a phone number that you want to share with the student. Um, if you don't want to share your personal cell phone number, you can get a free Google Voice number. Um, Oftentimes our students use WhatsApp, so I know that can be connected with your personal number. But if you don't want your number shared with the student, then I would put a different number here. Yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, what type of tutoring you're interested in. And then let's see. Yeah, there's a few questions, and then the next one you will submit your availability. So we have, let me just go through this so we can all see it together. Here's a question about if you want to tutor two students or just one student at the same time. So whether you're going to have two students in your class or just one-on-one. Um, I think two can be more fun. So here's what it looks like when you fill out your availability, right? We have the days of the week and then the times that you would be available. So you can select what times you're not working or what times you want to tutor a student. And the students also fill out the same availability form, and that's how we're going to pair you basically is who's available at the same time. So we need you to fill this out. That's your first step. Once you've done that, we have some trainings for you to do, which include this video and our Burlington English trainings. Now, we talked about Burlington English a little bit in the information session. It's a great tool that has lesson plans already made for you. And so if you'd like to use it, we ask that you do the training that's involved in it. So I'll set everybody up with a username. It's just your first initial and your last name. And then your password is tutor. So when you log in, there's a training. You'll click on that. And then we ask that you do the training called Teaching with Burlington Core. Let's let it pop up here. This one, Teaching with Burlington Core. So you'll start the course, and then when you finish it, you can send me your certificate to validate that you have finished that. This training will teach you all about how to use the website, and it is about 90 minutes. So that training will count towards your practicum hours. So it's not time lost. And you'll be able to have access to this website after you finish volunteering with us. So you'll be able to use it in your teaching, which is really great. Um, if you want to assign homework to your student, we can also set them up with a Burlington English account. We have AM classes and PM classes, and they're a little different since the PM classes are online. PM already uses Burlington English, so they will have an account. AM, we use physical textbooks because it's in person, so they don't already have an account. If you want to assign homework for your student using Burlington English, they can download an app. We can give them a password for the website. So just let me know if you're interested in that. And if you were, this training we'd ask that you do as well. It's called Progress for Burlington English courses. Yeah, it's that one. That way you can track like if your student did the homework or not, and what mistakes they made, what they got right. You're able to monitor their progress this way. So fill out the form, do the Burlington English training, watch this video, and then the last part of the training is an optional, some articles that are really great. There's like a lot of a lot of knowledge in here, a lot of really good information. This is the Illinois Adult Literacy Volunteer Tutor Training. Um, I know it can be kind of scary to tutor adults, maybe tutor people that are like older than you. Also tutoring someone that speaks a different language that you don't speak. All that sometimes online. All this can be pretty scary. And so this training has a lot of really good information about what to expect in these scenarios, about what the state standards are for us. So any of these lessons, I would recommend clicking around and reading them, specifically 1 through 5. 1 through 5, and instructional strategies is good too. So I'll send you a link to this. You'll get it in our next steps email, and definitely check it out because it's going to make you a better teacher and it's going to make you feel very prepared for tutoring with us. So after you've done the lengthy training, you're ready to observe a class. And that's step number 3, schedule a class observation. Once you finish with your first class observation, I can pair you with a student. And of course, if you want to observe many, many, many classes, you definitely can, but you only need to observe one before you start tutoring with a student. So that I will pair you with a student and you'll start tutoring. Now, it is just you and the student, or 2 students, however you decide to do it, on Zoom. I will not be there, their teacher will not be there. So I know this can feel overwhelming. It can feel like, what do I do? But we're here to help you feel prepared, and we're here to explain how to go about it with you. So let's talk about it. Um, who are our students at Trellus? So we are a community-based organization that offers adult education classes. So our students are anybody above the age of 18. They are free classes, so anybody living in the community can walk on in. Anybody that lives in the state of Illinois can take our classes. You don't need documentation. You can walk in and say, I'm interested in taking these classes. Great, we sign you up. Um, Right now, we have a lot of students from the country of Kyrgyzstan, which is a Kyrgyz and Russian speaking country near China. We have a lot of students from Afghanistan, students from Sudan, Ukraine, Mexico, Russia, and many, many more. Tons of countries are represented in this school. And you can imagine it also kind of depends on what's going on with the world, depending on who's going to move to the United States or leave their country and come to the United States. Um, and kind of what is happening in the world is like reflected in our student population, you can imagine. Um, a lot of our students are mothers because we offer intensive programs. Um, People that aren't working are able to take advantage of our program a little bit more because they're longer classes. So that tends for us right now to be a lot of women, a lot of mother students. Um, we have students, I mean, just a very vast variety, come from very, very different backgrounds. Some of our students are people that have never had a job, that have never been to school, and some of our students are people with PhDs that were teaching mathematics at universities, like in their home countries. So very wide variety of people. We have students that are architects, doctors, tailors. Some of my students like were bakers or sold food, like street vendors. So very wide variety. Um, but all of our students are really excited to learn. People are really motivated, and that makes for a great class and a great teaching experience. So I'm sure that you will really enjoy whoever you get to meet, and that kind of cultural exchange, and you'll find that your students are motivated, which is really exciting, different than teaching like in a K through 12 environment because these students really want to be here and they're like ready to learn. And so it makes your job as a teacher easier and more enjoyable. So I know a lot of us have like experience teaching maybe children or like I said in K through 12 environments, but maybe not with adults. So I want to talk about that a little bit because it can feel different, especially if the person's older than you. You're like, oh, how do I go about this? How do I like kind of manage this situation? Um, Adult learners learn best when they feel respected, right? Um, they learn best when they can use the information that they're learning in their classes in their lives immediately. So, for example, giving a lesson on fairy tales might be fun, and there might be great vocabulary and grammar, and sometimes that stuff is very useful. But our students are more interested in using language to navigate everyday life situations, like going to the doctor, figuring out how to get car insurance, maybe just simply reading bus schedules and giving and receiving directions. So I think when we tailor our lessons around real life examples, kind of like survival things that you're going to need to use in a new country right away, people feel respected that you are using your time well with them. And yeah, that their information is relevant to their lives, definitely. Um, and because we're teaching adults and not kids, I think adult learners also enjoy an exchange of information. So if you're like, tell me about your country, tell me about your family, then you can tell them about your family, maybe about like the state that you live in, or the country, if you're living in a different country, the country that you're living in. So kind of that exchange as well, to form, yeah, to form a relationship. Okay, let's talk about the Burlington English. We kind of went over this. The training that you're going to do is going to count towards your hours. You're going to complete the 90-minute training, teaching with Burlington English Core, and the progress if you want to assign homework to your students. Um, yeah, we talked about this. So once you play around with English, you'll find that they have lessons, thematic lessons based on situational things like going to the doctor, or shopping. So you can choose those lessons, or you can search like for grammar. Let's just do like present simple of be. You can find those lessons as well online. Um, so the Burlington English, your username will be okay, first name, last name, full. First name, last name is your username, and your password is tutor. And if you have an evening student, they already have an account. If you have a morning student, let me know. I can set them up with an account. Theirs is just going to be their first name, a capital L, and the level that they're in. Um, so you remember that in person we have level 0, which is like a literacy class. That's what I teach, through level 4, which is like people writing essays, very great verbal communication. And online we have levels 1 through 4. So I'm not teaching too much literacy online. So it's rare that you'll get paired with a literacy student only because technology is often more new to those students, and so online can be pretty difficult. So you probably won't get paired with a 0 student, but um, yeah. So after you finish the trainings, I mean, you can observe the class in between these, but you do need to observe a class before you are paired with a student. You'll be doing a class observation, and you will find all of those links if you're going to do an online observation online. So you can let me know when you want to observe a class, and I'll send you the first link. After I've sent you the first link, I know a lot of you have to observe many classes, so or like a lot of hours. So you can just find those links yourself. And please pay attention to this part because this is probably where I get the most questions, the most emails when all of the information is available to you. So please pay attention to this. Okay. Yeah, we have morning classes and we have night classes. It's a little confusing, the schedule. I admit. So our morning classes are hybrid. So we have levels 0 and 1 all in person. And then we have levels 2 through 4. They're hybrid. So they're going to be online on Tuesday and Thursday. So if you want to observe a morning class, your options would be Tuesday and Thursday from 9 o'clock to 12 p.m. Central Time. Okay. So that's your option to observe online in the morning. Your option to observe, of course, if you're living close by, you can come in person and you can observe the in-person classes as well. Our night classes, which most of our tutors end up observing these classes, these are levels 1 through 4, and they are only Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Okay. And that's 6:30 to 8:30 Central Time. I want to note that Tuesday is an all level conversation class. Yeah, all level conversation class. So that's going to look a little bit different. If you plan to observe a Tuesday class, just know that it's conversation and then it's all levels. Um, so you got a email with this schedule. You can also find this schedule on our class website under our tutoring blog, which is ESL classes, tutoring, tutor blog. And then here is a PDF of the schedule. There we go. So here you see the months, tell you when our term starts and when our term ends, which is starts on January 8th, and then it ends on, when does it end? Yeah, February 19th. Hmm. Oh, wait, let's see. Is that right? No, I'm so sorry. Starts on January 8th, ends on March 21st. Yep. So that's how long this term is. You can certainly tutor beyond that, um, because we have a break. It's great if our students are continuing tutoring after that. But this is the months, the days, and then here's the breakdown of all the classes. So when you have doubts, please go back to this. It's either in your email or it's on our class website. Um, so please check this out, because I'll get emails that say like, "Oh, can I observe a level one Tuesday class?" And I'm like, that's in person, or "Oh, can I observe a Friday night evening level one class?" I'm like, that doesn't exist. Please check the schedule. Um, so here's where you can find the schedule. It's in your email. Another place you can find the schedule is on each teacher's page. So here we have our morning classes and our evening classes. These are pages where students can go to review what they did in class, to find their class links, and to find the teacher's contact information. So let's take a look. This is evening level one. Welcome to evening level one. Meet your teacher. Hello, my name is Victoria. Here we see Victoria's phone number and her email. Um, Here we see her class schedule. So now we have no doubts about what time her classes are because it's right here. Um, so that's her home page. And then if you go to the right, you see their classwork. Here on her classwork page, she has her Zoom links. So you'd be able to click on these links to join their class. We just ask that you give the teacher a heads up before you join their class. Usually like a day in advance would be nice, just so that they know who you are, they know to be expecting you. Um, we ask that you also change your name on Zoom to just add the word like tutor, to that, the name, the word tutor next to your Zoom name. That way, when you're trying to get into the Zoom, the teacher knows who you are, that you're not another student, that you're not someone's friend. Um, yeah. So all of these classes, you can go to any of these pages to find the teacher's information. Let's say you want to observe Alexandra's class, her level two, just send her an email and say, "Hey, I'm tutor Annie. I would really love to observe your Tuesday class at 6:30." Oh, and then you see that's a group conversation class. So that's really going to be all the teachers. But you can send this teacher an email. She'll say, "Great, come on in. We're happy to see you. You can find the link on my class page." And here's the link. So yeah, this will be how you observe your classes. The other great part about the website is that teachers post what they do every day. So you're able to use this in your tutoring sessions. So our classes terms ended already, but let's go to her class page. Looks like she posted something about self-study tips. So you would be able to read this yourself and be like, what did the student do in class? What are they working on right now? I'd love to take from that and put it in my presentation for my student. Or you could go to this class page with your student and have them read it out loud to you. See what they learned, see what they didn't remember. You get that one-on-one time or two-on-one time with that student. And so you're able to review what they did in class and check for understanding. So you could just share your screen and you could, use the Zoom tools to say, Hey, what does this say? What is nonfiction? What does that mean? Uh-huh. What does this say? You'd be able to review it with them that way. Looks like she posted a flyer for something. You could read the flyer with your student. Um, let's see. Here we go. On December 5th, we see today we completed pages 101 and 104 in our student book. For homework, please complete the writing activity on page 105. So you notice they're talking about textbooks here. If you're interested, we are able to give you the textbook PDF that they're working on. So that would be another tool for you to use in your tutoring sessions is to share the PDF, and you could do this homework together. So just let us know. We can share those PDFs with you. You'd also be able to, boom, right here, you'd be able to do this with your student. So I would say, hey, could you please read this for me? They would read it, and then I would say, what is your job? And they would say, my job is, or maybe you could say, I am a doctor or whatever. Hmm. So reviewing the class page has a lot of really good information, and it's a really great thing to use in your tutoring sessions as well. Okay, so after you've observed your class and after you've finished your trainings, then you get paired with a student. So I'll send you an email, including you and the teacher's student, and I'll say, thank you so much for finishing our training material. You are paired with student Akmerbet. Akmerbet is in a level 2 class. This is her teacher, their teacher is Melissa. If you have any questions, teacher Melissa can inform you about what they're doing in class. Teacher Melissa can inform you about this student's like strengths or weaknesses or what they want to work on. I'll send you teacher Melissa's class page. Please check it out. If you want her book, I can send you her book. Um, and then I'll also send a group text to you and the student and say, hey, Akmerbet, here's your tutor, John. This is John's number. John is going to text you to find a time to meet online. So remember when I said I pair you based off of your availability? So I know that you guys have the same windows of availability. Um, Based on that, you can suggest a time to meet with the student. So you know that I paired you with someone that has your same availability. So you can say, hey, Akmerbet, nice to meet you. I'm John. I'm available Tuesday nights. How does 6 o'clock sound? Is 6 o'clock good? And then you can send them a Zoom link, which I'll talk more about later. But this program is all online. This program is going to require really good communication from you to the student, right? So you're going to be responsible for setting up that first meeting and for communicating with the student what time it is, basically. Okay, what do you do in your first tutoring session? I know it can be overwhelming. Um, we recommend that your first session is more of a get to know you. So it can be a lot of conversation. You can ask a lot of questions about who they are, what they like, what they do, what their goals are for English. And this way you'll be able to understand their level right away because you'll be asking them questions. Um, and the first session will probably also be maybe a little difficult with technology, with Zoom, so making sure that they feel comfortable using that. Um, if you're interested in having them use Burlington English, the first lesson can also be showing them the Burlington English page. You can tell them to download the app. Um, and then in your first session, we want you to set the times up for your next sessions. So to talk about expectations of when you will be meeting. Consistency is really good if you can meet at the same time every week. That helps students not forget. It helps attendance. They show up more frequently or just don't miss as much. Um, so if you, if you want it to be flexible, that's fine too, just as long as you're communicating with the student. Um, and setting up expectations. So telling them that, if they can't come to a tutoring session that they need to let you know. I mentioned that oftentimes some of our students are first-time students. So that includes some people that have not done tutoring online before. And so setting expectations is really important because they might have a different expectation than you have for what this looks like. Um, so I know that some students, when they sign up for tutoring, they don't quite understand that it's going to be like one-on-one and that this tutor is like waiting for specifically just them. And so there's some confusion there that we really try to decrease the confusion, but it still happens. Um, and so letting them know that, hey, if you miss, you need to tell me, and you need to give me X amount of times notice, um, because we are teaching the language of English, but we're also teaching cultural expectations for living within the United States. And one of our expectations as a culture is that if you miss an appointment, that you have to like, usually for the doctor or the dentist, you have to pay if you've missed it, right? And so for us, it's considered kind, professional to let someone know if you are going to miss an appointment. And so keeping those expectations for tutoring is helpful to students to understand expectations of the country that they're living in now. So yeah, and we also have a rule that if students miss two classes, their third one that they miss, they don't get to the tutor anymore because they've wasted the time of the tutor. So we're going to give you a new student that is ready and won't miss classes. So if you do have trouble with this, please let me know. We have had trouble in the past. As you can imagine, communication is a little bit difficult since people are learning the language. We need to over communicate and make sure that check for understanding to make sure that the expectations are understood. And so that comes from me, that comes from the teacher student, but it also comes from you. So I'll talk a little bit about that some more here. Um, so I mentioned that for your first lesson, it's more of a get to know you. You could also use the class website that I showed you to review what the student is working on in class. You could use Burlington English to give them a lesson, or here I have tons of websites with lesson materials. So you have a PDF of this presentation. You can click through these websites. Let me just show you a couple because they're really great. Um, I really like this one. It has just conversation topics. So, for example, if you just you know pulled up this website, you can say, okay, we're going to do about 15 minutes of conversation. Let's look at question number one. Although this is kind of a weirdly worded question. What does the future hold? And you'd be able to discuss that. What will the future be like? Who invented the very first computer? What is AI? Good questions. Good questions. So this website has a bunch of conversation questions that you'd be able to use to just get the ball rolling, have some fun conversation for a while. This is another website. It's got a lot of grammar activities that you can do. So you'd be able to share your screen and do this with your student. Number one, what does number one say? Man. Okay, one man. What do we say for two? Two men. Um, this is another great website. It has stories and it has lessons in other languages as well, which I always encourage if you can find materials in your students, maybe one of your students' primary languages. You'll learn that a lot of our students speak more than one language already, two, three, or four. And so you could share a video or find some resources in their language or learn a little bit about their language. That will really go a long way. Students love sharing their language and they love when the teachers can maybe say a few words or ask them questions about their language. I would recommend that too as a way to build a relationship with the student and show them that you respect their language and their culture as well. This is another great website, All Things Topics. You can literally just search a topic, transportation, and worksheets. There's tons of worksheets. So videos, worksheets, fill in the blanks, some really great stuff here. So yeah, all these websites are included in the PowerPoint. So you can click through the PDF. Stories with pre-questions, post-questions, audios. I love this one too. It's like books. So you can like read a book, an online book together. So there's definitely not a shortage of things to do with your student. Um, it's more going to be the creativity of putting your lesson together yourself. Because we don't give you one curriculum to follow. We tell you what we're doing in class and what the student wants to work on. And we give you all this material, and then you get to put it together. Okay, some tips for tutoring online. Check what the student's working on in class. That way you're aligning what they're learning, what you're working on in tutoring with what they're learning in class. You're working off their previous knowledge. Um, Keep it centered to what they want to learn. Like I said, fairy tales, great, but maybe they're more interested in something else. And so keep it centered to what the student really wants to work on. Encourage their cameras on. That's our expectation in our online classes. Um, I know that sometimes if you're a tutor and you're a man and you're tutoring a woman student, based on like what religion or what culture they're coming from, they might feel uncomfortable sometimes with the camera. We can discuss that. You can ask them to, but we encourage that cameras are on. I mean, tutoring is just, it's teaching is very difficult to do when you can't see the person and when they can't see you. So cameras on, definitely and take a break. We require that you tutor a student for 2 hours a week. You can break that up however you like. Um, we ask that you use Zoom. We know that Zoom only has 45-minute sessions. So if you take a break at the 30-minute mark and you come back in using the same link, that's a great way to get around it. You don't need to pay for Zoom. So I talked a lot about our class website. You have the link to it. It's my Trellus AE, that stands for adulteducation.org. Right now, on this day that I'm recording this video, our password is AE Fall 2023, but that will change soon to AE Winter 2024, and it follows this cycle, right? So then it'll be AE Spring 2024, and so on. So you do need a Zoom account. The Zoom Basic is free. You probably already have one. But once you get your Zoom account, you can create your link for your student to meet with you online. And we recommend that you use the same link, that you don't change it every week, because consistency is really helpful for making sure that people show up and decreases confusion. So once you make that link, you can send it to me and the teacher. That way we have it as well. So if the student ever loses it, we can send it to them. So just make sure to let me know when you're meeting and what your link is, and I can save that. So once you get paired with a student, you will need to contact your student. Um, I put you in a group message, and you can take it from there. I often find that phone calls get way more of a response than text. I know probably you, like me, we're more comfortable texting. Phone calls can feel like, oh, am I like disrupting this person? But no, most of our students respond to phone calls, even if it's an unknown number. They will answer right away. Even if they have difficulty communicating, they most likely will answer. And so if you're having difficulty getting a response from your student, give them a phone call. Give them one or two phone calls, if they don't respond. Or you can try texting in their native language. You can imagine if you moved to a different country and you get a phone and it's in a different language, or maybe you can't program it to your language. Maybe you're getting text from like the cell phone provider or like you doc and you can't read it. It's confusing. Like you might not answer a text from an unknown number. So um, that's why phone calls are better, and you can use Google Translate to communicate with the student back and forth in their language as well. If you want to get a Google Voice number, feel free. Um, we need you to confirm your availability with the student. And like I said, yeah, consistency is always key. So you can give your student reminders about when you're going to meet, maybe the morning of or the day of, or an hour before. Um, you can send them the link again. The more support you can give to make sure that the student is going to meet you online is going to make it easier for you and the student to make sure that these meetings happen and that they're not missed. Okay, so this pretty much concludes the training. What's next? If you want to read the articles that I sent you from the Illinois training, complete the Burlington English trainings, observe your class, and then you're going to get placed with a student. You'll get a group message. You'll contact your student and determine what time you're going to meet. You're going to set up your Zoom account if you don't already have one, and give the link to your um, yeah, send the student the link to me and teacher or student. And then we have tutor logs that you're going to complete after every tutoring session and after every training. That way we can keep track of your hours. So after every session, please complete the tutor log. It's in the email that I sent you. And that'll help us track your time. But that is all I have for you guys today. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. We're here to support you. The questions either to me or to the student's teacher. You can keep us both CC'd on any questions you have so that we are looped in. But we're so excited that you're with us. I know you guys are really going to enjoy whoever you get matched with. So yeah, that's it for today, and don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. All right, goodbye.